All right, we got the Roundup weed killer being talked about today with a glyphosate in this part of those lip syncing sessions, and the Roundup in your bread, and that candida of worms. And Trump, while Trump is pushing it, Mayhaw is against these things, and this is the colliding of the worlds, the old heaven and earth, and these things being pushed out one last moment as the Roundup is kind of that lasso, and that last part of the auto pin closing, and where you got the pin closed and you're bringing them into the slaughter area or the laughters area, depending where that S is rising, and the SS is upon you as a social security, and that numbering of the people who is done by Satan, and the Lord is upon you, and those types of things. But either way, the bread and the bread of life, and Jesus not eating the yeast, and those things are tying into your candida of worms and that little parasitic alien and stuff that's up inside of you, and parasites and the frequencies and such. Some things that you can find is how frequencies interact with these things and stop it. And they were talking about these frequencies being used in Venezuela to kill people, and we've heard these noises in the theaters and stuff, like it's so loud and whatever. Told you these things back in Spider-Man, and they mentioned COVID, people getting COVID and such after that time frame. So all those kinds of things are going together. And then the Blockbuster / Nor'easter, and then Pitbull is doing a bald cap concert. Those are like people putting on their eggshells and all those things as things are going forward and backward overlaid. And Trump did the declaring the glyphosate production, and that's tied to Monsanto, 1901, and the Bayer, and that Beyonce, and those things for that Jay-Z. All these things are lining up as you're in that Einstein, Epstein kind of overlay for the little wormholes. And then Monsanto was found in 926, and we're in that 2026, and then we're replaying America as this like industrial age is forming, has already formed. The Adam and the Eve is about to rise and get the serpent and all those things. But as they return to the dust, or from the dust and back to the dust, is how it's kind of going with this hive and mound. But it's going to where they're the living robots, and they're going to be controlled in one way, shape, or form, how they're already controlled now, but now it's like been seared as the DNA and the RNA and all that shit's been tampered. But as these things go into that control mechanism, it's going to be broken out into a new type of so-called freedom or whatever, because we have a delusion of freedom, illusion of freedom, but it's not like freedom and these things. But the freedom is also what's best for the body, and what's best for the body of man, and how man has been so-called conquered and destroyed by the ultra processing and whatever else. This is where you have to have certain types of rules, regulations, or whatever come over onto the majority. And so the critical race and the Nor'easter, the Blockbuster, Ohio tornadoes, Indiana tornadoes today, and the Heartland, and it's shaped like a heart. That's the heartbeats kind of going. And then the largest Mideast air power since the O3. The O3 is tied to the I'm having a brain fart. Ozone, which is the Oz one. And then also the sky machine is like a home ozone machine. And then that sky, the Zelen sky, the Ellen sky, all those things gathered in the Ellen with the cannibalism, the cannabis, all those kinds of things. The weed killer, serial killer tied with your grains and all that. And that's where your acid trip, your ergot, and all those things come. And the fungus, all those plays on the lip syncing, as far as acid growing on the wheat and or the rye or whatever, and being a fungus, and all those types of things, as the AC ID and the Antichrist ID, and the Antichrist rises with the U, and you don't want to join biometric world and whatever else, and then also the AI and the medical system, and all these things are coming in to give you your little paper, so-called, your rations of food, where you can only have one piece of bread and one loaf of bread a week, and whatever else that's coming here that used to be over there across the seas that we're told about when the Gestapo, the far right, came, and the far right is coming and saying, you weigh too much. You're a fat ass. You've let yourself go. If you don't know anything about food or drink, you don't know anything about anything fucking else. Okay? So, it's just that simple. It's so simple, few are going to find it. But and yes, that's where the old dark sun shines. But yeah, the food y'all are eating, the ultra processed food, these changes we've seen in America since the 70s, 80s, 90s, millenniums and such, and they even told you, and when the millennium started and the internet was coming all out and whatever else. At the same time, they're telling you that, well, a hot dog is better for you than a handful of nuts. That's like a main line that just is like seared my, it's like, what the fuck am I hearing on the news? Like, are people really buying this? Count your calories. Worship the name and number. Oh, that has 0 sugar, 0 calories, and all the health defects you can ask for. They just take about 5 years, 3 years, 10 years to hit you. But eventually you get branded. And that figure 8 starts setting in. Starts to look like that circle. That no culture that we've heard playing in the old Super Bowl. Either way, you might realize at the time the old sucker ball champion comes for that World Cup, got to keep those chins covered for that fun, that fat upper neck. But yeah, the aliens are here. They've already invaded in one way, shape, or form. And most shapes are round. Okay? Either way, the world's upside down, we've been told. And since the world's been upside down, this kind of takes us to that grocery store aisle in the 80s and 90s when we saw those Star magazines or Sun, whatever. Okay, shining another type of light, and now we're realizing like all that shit we were told and those one set of lies were actually the truth, and your People magazine is actually the lies. And now that you follow the lies, you gotta go into that little Deuteronomy session where you gotta eat your babies. Because you killed a whole mound of babies and they're all mound up spiritually. Now you got to just consume them physically and spiritually or whatever. You're all eating whatever shit in the fast foods and Taco Bells and school lunches. And they're coming for your children. They've already got your children. Because how many children in the United States go and eat breakfast and lunch at the schools? How many? So what's done is done. And Don has put all his shit in everybody through the old WHO, Serpent Seed, and the Serpent Seed with the SS Rising and Social Security. And I gotta go because my alarm reminder reminded me that I'm out of time. Okay? And y'all are out of time too. Because it's the great tribulation. And the second coming of a dawn is before you. And Adon means the Lord, and the Lord is Satan, who is here to number the people. And you've already been numbed. Okay? In so many fucking ways.